Welcome back to Daily Teas. Thank you for joining us again today. If you've been following along, it has been a couple of weeks since I last posted, and a lot has been going on. A lot of good stuff, some personal stuff, but we'll get into that later in this episode, as well as the plan for the future. Let's begin by I finally went for my first golf fitting for clubs since I was about 8 years old. I remember I was in the neighbor who lives across from my grandparents was an avid golfer, and apparently he did golf fittings at some point in his career and life. So I remember being outside of his house, just swinging away in his front yard, and they were measuring up my clubs, and I remember he was teaching how to cut the pipe, to shorten the club length for, my size, and re-gripping. It was a really cool process that I recall. That was in 1998. It is now 2021. I'm much taller than I was, but I'm still not very tall. About 5'6.5" for those that are in question. So going for my first club fitting was fun. I really enjoyed the experience. I went to Golf Tech in East Brunswick. Shout out to Golf Tech. Great facility. They use a whole bunch of cameras and digital displays to show you exactly down to the minutia of how you're swinging, angulation of impact, as well as angulation of the ball hitting the ground, how it's going to roll out from there. Really, really awesome tech to develop someone's golf game. They do lessons, they do club fittings, just an amazing place. I had a great time. The coach for the day that was doing my club fitting, the guy's name is Brady Benton, PGA member and associate, was absolutely phenomenal. I believe he's actually the center manager out there in East Brunswick, New Jersey. And we had a great time. Definitely got to play around with a whole bunch of different clubs, see what my clubs were doing or weren't doing for me. I think by the end of the actual club fitting, I ended up gaining 15 yards on average with every club, which was amazing. I definitely want to get some more distance into my game, as well as practicing on the finesse level and making sure things are pinpoint accurate. By the end of the session, it took about 2.5 hours, I believe, to come down to what clubs are going to benefit me best in life, or at least in this chapter of where I am physically, and I'm really, really stoked. I cannot wait. It's a bit expensive off the bat, which, I knew that going into it. Now I got to figure out the process of what will I do in order to afford these clubs so I can continue to develop my game. Also, I learned the clubs that I'm using Lady Cobras at this moment have a square club face, which is now banned in tournament play because I guess certain clubs, they have to be a particular design on the loft, very uniform, I believe, for everyone, which is really cool. I don't think it's really been helping me since these clubs are about 26 years old, but I've found comfort in them at this time, and my game is pretty decent. Having newer clubs would definitely level up my gameplay. But then again, it's not always about the clubs, it's also about the golfer. So I'm thankful that I can take 26-year-old clubs and do great work with them, or at least moderate work with them. And what I can do with new clubs is going to be amazing. So shout out, my clubs that I got fitted for are going to be a Callaway driver, 4-wood, and hybrid set. My irons from 5 through gap wedge are going to be Mizuno, the JPX 21s. Which is going to be very, very exciting. So I'm keeping my putter. It is a tailor-made Spider mallet head. I absolutely love that thing. And although I probably could upgrade to new technology, I'm not willing to give up how accustomed and the feel I have with it at this time. I'm keeping the feel, which Brady did agree that if I have a good feel with the putter, that I should stay with it. But he seems, he was challenging on the way. He's like, oh, well, We won't get you to a new putter this time, but we'll see what happens as your game develops. So okay, fair enough. The facility was great. I even got to talk to Brady a little bit afterwards about how to get into the golf industry as far as a career. And, he brought me to the PGA organization website and said they have 2 different ways that you can get in. There's the pathway by working for a facility, whether it be a golf course or a training facility or anything like that. And that you can do, it's like an associate's program to get to PGA membership, and then from there, how you can get to working within the industry. Also, the other option would be to go to any university that gives you your PGM, which is professional golf management degree. Usually, I think it's anywhere between 2 to 3 years. Obviously, me having already a bachelor's degree should, I don't want to say fast track it, but I can pinpoint the focus on the education that I get from that in order to go ahead. Both, obviously, one, I would like better. It seems like more of a work-study program to work in the golf industry for a facility and then work towards your membership if that's allowed, versus having to take out another loan, student loans, FAFSA. I know it would contribute to the success of my future in golf as I am investing in my education to use that education outside. But it's a lot to handle to go back in that way at this moment. So looking up golf jobs through the PGA website, all the golf opportunities that are out there. And the golf tech facility I went to is hiring. So I said, you know what? Let's just apply. So just to give it a go. I made it through the first application process. I made it to round 2, the interview, which I think is like one of 3. So that was just this past week. So fingers crossed this week I'll hear back from them, letting me know how I stand in the ranks to be a golf tech golf coach, which would be a fantastic opportunity. They also offer great benefits, as well as they help contribute towards your PGA membership, which I thought was absolutely amazing. If that's part of what I would need and what I would want, it's not even just what I need, but what I want to contribute into my success in the golf industry. So thank you, Brady, if you're listening, or just any representative of Golf Tech. I really value how you are a very data-driven place to help a golf game. Because I remember as a kid when I took lessons, it comes down to feel, and feel is absolutely paramount in my opinion. But without getting to know precise data and understanding the physics of how the golf game works, I think you're missing out on an aspect, which Golf Tech is not. Golf Tech has said, no, these are really important key figures that you should know, and with all the modern day technology that we have at our disposal, we can do this not just better, but best. So really love that approach to the industry. So if you listened recently to one of my other episodes, I had mentioned that I was applying for an assistant golf pro job at a course that was local to me. I hadn't heard back, and during that 1 week, I made a trip to go visit a friend. I came back, it was my birthday, and then from there, I was still awaiting to hear back from the facility. Not just awaiting, but I had followed up, called the facility and left a voicemail for the general manager and the golf pro of the clubhouse. Didn't hear anything back. I sent a follow-up email after I had sent my information over to him. Didn't hear anything back. So 2 weeks ago, I went and played the course, set up for the first tee time available in the day. When I got there, the general manager, the golf pro, had been there, and he said, "Hey, David." I said, "How's it going?" And he goes, "Oh, it's good. You have a tee time for the day?" I said, "Absolutely, I do." And he's like, "Great, what time?" I said, 7:30. He said, "Okay, when your buddy gets here, you guys are more than welcome to go out. Before you walk away, I was just wondering, what happened?" So I kind of had this dumbfounded look at my face where I responded. I said, "That's a good question. I have the same one. What happened? I emailed you my information like you requested, and you said that I was waiting to get an email in return from the property management group, and I haven't heard anything. I've checked my spam folder. I've checked everything." He said, "Oh, okay. Not sure what happened, but go play your round. At the end of your round, please stop in the pro shop and come see me." I said, "Absolutely." So played the round, played decently. After the round, went to the pro shop. There he was. And he said, "I was going through my system. I can't seem to find anything. Actually, we had a nice, beautiful thunderstorm the prior week." And he said, "We actually got struck by lightning here last week that fried our systems. We've been trying to play catch up. Any voicemails that were left got totally wiped. And I've just been going through old emails trying to, organize everything. So I'm not sure what occurred, but if you're still interested in the position, I will get you the information today." I said, "You know what? Although you haven't been able to communicate with me over the last couple of weeks, I would still be interested in the position and I would consider it. Please get me the information as early as you can." He said, "Okay, excellent. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon." That was 2 weeks ago, I said. I still haven't heard anything back. So I'm taking this almost as a sign of the universe that maybe this wasn't the right fit for me at this particular course. Not that I wouldn't go through and try it at another one, but I know to try to just jump right into being an assistant golf pro, they'd like to have, their applicants to have some sort of experience, education-wise, as well as firsthand experience working. But this guy was willing to take a trust in me, and that hopefully was willing to take a trust in me that by how adamant I was about trying the position and following up with him to even get through, he seemed to think that everything had looked good enough for me to try it. He was going to put me on a trial run. So that's as things stand with that. I'm probably not going to accept the position. I'm still willing to play at the golf course, although the partner that I played with that day said, we shouldn't play here. You don't want to make things awkward. I'm like, well, I'm here to play golf. I'm not here to really make things awkward. And honestly, things happen. It's okay. It's just like golf. Got to take the good swings with the bad ones. That is the nature of how it rolls. So for those that were kind of waiting on bated breath to see what was occurring with that, unfortunately, this is how things have turned out so far. Turn into the golf tech facility had a position. They also required a little bit of experience, but they didn't require you to be a PGA member. And if you weren't, that the company and organization is willing to contribute towards your education to become a PGA member, as well as they have incentives to go out and take particular courses into what's going to help you be a better coach, what's going to teach you more about the golf game and the golf industry and the technologies that are coming out in order to make the game that much more accessible and that much better for everyone who wishes to play the game. Really cool stuff. But at this time, I'm not really doing much except for playing golf. That's helping me get into the industry. I've been looking for a whole bunch of jobs, but once again, if you're not a PGA member or have proper education or experience, it's a little bit harder to get in, but we're trying. That's the point. I would like to ask if anyone out there has suggestions or an opinion on me starting either a Patreon or some way to help finance my goals and dreams within the golf world and community and industry, and what it is that I can do to give back. Absolutely everything about what I want to do is about giving back in a sorts. Obviously, it's hard to give back golf. It's hard to give back golf unless I can teach lessons, or if anyone wants to come out and just play around me, I'd be happy to play golf with nearly anyone, just as long as we keep up good pace, have proper etiquette, and most importantly, have fun. Have a good day out. So, please drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. I know the different ones out there, they have like GoFundMe's or Patreons, OnlyFans, whatever I can do to help contribute to society and the community around me while also trying to pursue my dreams. So I'm taking food for thought from anyone and everyone who can advise. Also, I've been slowly developing my plan to travel more frequently. It's something that I've written down in my notebook and something that I've been thinking very, very hard on about. I would like to travel all over, play golf at different courses, anything that I can do to be eco-friendly, sustainable, travel, see the world, see golf courses, and help contribute to more than just the locale community in which I've grown up and lived. So I've been putting work into research into the tiny home mobile life, whether it's renting, buying an RV, fixing it out, making it eco-friendly and like a tiny home. So if you have any information about that either, I would absolutely love for you to drop a line, let me know. Shout out to Artisan Josh. He's some guy I saw, he took an old SWAT vehicle and turned it into a 100% eco-friendly tiny home. That thing is absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen it, I can drop the link below to that video because it's a great watch, amazing work that he's put into it, and along those lines of what I'd like to do for myself. I did think getting a tiny home and putting one of those practice golf mats on the roof of it, so wherever I go I can always practice right on the roof of my own vehicle. I thought that was a really key little touch right there, which I think is going to be really, really cool if I can do it. But part of that means if I can travel around and anyone from across the country, I can travel to you to play golf, so you don't have to like come out to me or anything like that. It gives me that opportunity that maybe that's the thing that I can give back into anyone who can help contribute to my golf dreams. I can come out to where you guys are. We can play a round of golf. We can have a golf lesson. We can just shoot the shit. I also have my own handyman business. I can come out and maybe do some work for you in that regard. So please let me know what you guys think. If this is something that you would be interested in, I would love to put more thought into how I can do this to help everyone else around me while, playing golf. So that's a good plan. Also, you can follow this around to find my Facebook page. My name is David Lee Carey. I do have things up for sale in the marketplace there. I have a lot of musical equipment as well as some old golf clubs or anything of the kind. I am trying to declutter and turn all these things that I have accrued over my life and turn them into a different value so I can invest in my future. So if you're interested, I've got some guitars for sale, guitar amps. I have a trumpet, a trombone, a banjo. I've got all these things that I'm trying to repurpose. I don't just want to throw them out. And also, if there's a good place to donate these things, I would be happy to donate them as well. I actually reached out to my old high school and see if they would take some of my brass and woodwind instruments off my hands and just donate it, because I remember I didn't have a trombone until college. I was only a drummer, and our music director was a professional trombone player. We had no low brass section, so we had so many percussionists. He said, would anyone be willing to learn trombone? I will give you free private lessons to learn how to play this instrument. And so I volunteered. I said, you know what? I'm so passionate about music in that regard, in high school. So myself, this other girl, Courtney, and Eric, the three of us kind of dropped out of the pit being the more percussion ensemble pieces, bells, chimes, xylophones. We stepped out of there and we learned how to play trombone. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the instrument a whole bunch. In college, I actually continued. I took an intermediate brass class to continue playing trombone, but I never had one. The one that I actually played in high school, I just borrowed from the school. And I know a lot of people in my town, my area, as well as out there, don't either have the funds or can afford to buy their own instrument to play. So I'm glad that schools have that program where you can buy or rent them. But if the school didn't have it, you would probably have to go out and buy your own. So I reached out to them, see if I can donate the musical instruments that way if they need them. So I think it's just a good way to pay it forward. A lot of these things that you have, that you accrue in your life, when they no longer serve the same value to you that they once did, find a way for them to find their value again, or find someone who's willing to put their value into it, which is just a good way to recycle goods and to declutter, because it's nice to hold on to things, but when they no longer just do anything for you and they just sit there and collect dust, it's a good reminder that, hey, that was a good part of my life. But from my perspective, I hate to watch these things just sit there, and if they were a life, they're sitting there on a shelf just kind of watching you watch them pass them by and put your time and value into other things. And I just, guitars, instruments, golf clubs, anything that you collect that you really enjoy, it has a value. If you don't use something any longer and you're not sure why you still have it, maybe it's time to give it to someone who wants it, and that will put a different value into it. So that's where we're at currently, looking for advancement in the financial game that would contribute and push my dreams to pursue golf and how that would work. So this is a very community-based episode where I want your input. I definitely want to hear what you guys are thinking. Also, reach out to me anyways. Let's start a conversation. I'd love to talk to you guys out there, see what you guys are thinking. Are you guys enjoying the show? Are you guys enjoying the content? Would you like to see something change? I did record 2 different games that I played on my little GoPro, so please expect sometime soon that we were gonna splice maybe a little montage. Also, would you like to see a react video to my golf game? Would you like to see it live in person? Tell me what you guys would like. I'd love to try new things and see what different avenues are out there for me to share my passions with you and to how I can give back. So thank you once again for tuning in to this week's episode. Hopefully after a lot of certain personal things resolve themselves, we'll be back to a weekly schedule of posting once a week for you. But until then, thank you for your patience, thank you for your understanding, and I cannot wait to engage with you guys a little bit more and post some more content of my golf game growing. Also, I'll keep everyone in tune to when I'm upgrading my clubs to level up my golf game and how everything plays out with the different job opportunities that I'm trying to acquire. And last but not least, my venture into cross-country travel in a tiny home, golfing around the country, and maybe even around the world. That'd be incredible. So, if you don't already, please like, comment, follow, subscribe, ring that bell, get notified when we post our new weekly videos, and I will see you guys next time.